began to, as a pastor's wife, looking around at the women around me and hearing the stories and having people share with me, I was astounded at how many women were running away. I mean, you know, leaving their traditional roles in the church and out of the church. And it was surprising, it was dismaying, but I was so interested in it, I wanted to know what that's all about. Why? You know, what's happening? So I began to just kind of write some things. You know how you do, you just kind of write things down. You don't know where it's going to go, how it's going to be. But I just started writing about things. And then every once in a while I'd kind of show it to an editor or talk to someone about it. Got zero interest, you know, just blank look, you know. So I got discouraged about it. I put it in a drawer, okay? Just set it down, put it in a drawer. Well, one day, I was talking to a gal that I had befriended in a little town of Winchester where I live. She had moved there from California too, and so you know how you do. You have all this stuff in common. You kind of become friends and talk and whatever. One day she's talking with me and she says, "I have to share something with you." And she says, "I want to share it with you at just the right time." Well, of course, I'm getting, you know, how you do. What is she going to tell me, you know? I couldn't imagine what she was going to say. But she planned a special lunch, and she wanted me to come over, and she had something to share with me. And so I went over, and we had this nice lunch and the whole thing, and I'm just wondering. And she finally shares with me, she says, I know you're the pastor's wife, and you might not want to be around me anymore, because I'm a runaway mom. I ran away from my kids, my husband, and she says, I want you to know that. That's in my background. Well, the whole time she's probably trying to read my face. And, okay, this is a writer's viewpoint. The whole time she's probably thinking I'm horrified. And inside, I'm so excited I can hardly stand it. Because I'm thinking about my manuscript that's in that drawer. And I realize one of the things wrong with it is I don't have anybody's personal experience. I don't have an up close and personal viewpoint of what that's all about. And after she gets through sharing all of this with me, I said, well, I just have one thing to say. I said, would you mind if I interviewed you for my book? And she said, I would be glad to. She said, if my story can help anyone else, then I'm glad to do that. And so I just really went all through her life and all the ins and outs of it. And then from there I realized, you know, I need to be talking to the counselors. I need to be talking to some, so from there I went to, and I did some interviews with some counselors and quite a few other things like people like that, more involved. And as I was speaking around, I began to share this friend's story when I would do speaking, and other women would come up to me and share their stories. So the next time I went to an editor, not only did I have a deeper story.
Yeah, different age groups.
Yeah, but I began to realize any one of us could be in that situation. It could happen to any of us. As I began to see the procession of things that can happen in a woman's life, and you get to a certain point, it could happen to anyone. It could happen to me. And so you could see what was happening and evolving in this story. It was becoming very personal rather than out there analytical. So by the time I presented it to the next editor, it was a much different project than it was before. And the kicker was this editor's wife had run away, and he said, I've got it, we've got to have this, we've got to have this. And so that book, that next book was called The Heart of a Runaway, Hope and Understanding for the Woman Who Longs to Escape. And it's really written, yes, it's written for women who have run away, but it's also written for the people who come alongside and don't quite understand what's going on. When you consider, if you understand the book business, if a book goes for 6 months, it's pretty strong. You know, if it goes for a year, it's a good book. This one went on for at least 10 years.
Wow.
So can you kind of see how God kind of takes you through a process sometimes when you've got something that's on your heart? You allow Him to bring those things together, to make it to be what He wants it to be.